Have you ever sat down and actually thought about why you're doing the habits that you're doing? Why are you thumb pulling? Why are you wiping the dust off your desk because Hamza said it will give you discipline? Why do you spend hours making your Notion productivity infrastructure system? And you search for hours looking for the final solution on how to stop scrolling. I was that guy for 2 years. I always thought there was something that I didn't know, a new framework, tactic or method. But it's only now that I've come to realise that I was only searching for stuff that I didn't know because I didn't want to put in the actual work. But after I just started focusing on these Spartan habits, that was when I was able to go to the gym for over 1 year consistently now, wake up at 5 AM every day, reduce my screen time to as low as sometimes even just 30 minutes. In this video, I will show you the only things you need to do to succeed in self-improvement, which I've learnt from the Spartans and through experience. But you should only use this if you want to make massive progress and build insane discipline. So about 2 years ago, I wanted to get more clear skin. I obsessed over it. I was watching every male skincare video. I was using 3 types of moisturizer shit in my face with this fucking cleanser and all this shit. I was using it all and I thought, oh yeah, my skin's gonna get so good. And I did all this stuff, but I didn't just do the basics. I didn't just wash my face, eat clean, train. Instead I tried to do all this bullshit because I avoided the real work. And it was the same when I tried to become productive. I would watch endless Notion videos on how to set up your database to make it your own hub, and it would make you more productive in your work, and I would be able to make even easier YouTube videos instead of just making the videos. Instead of just doing what I needed to do, I did all this extra bullshit, which leads me to step 1, the Pareto principle. So if you haven't heard about the Pareto principle, it simply just means that 80% of the actions that you do lead to 20% of the results, whereas there is also a 20% of your actions that lead to 80% of the results. And these Spartans were specifically good at utilizing this concept because they didn't do the 80% of tasks that only gave them 20% of results. They just did and focused on the 20% of tasks that would give them the most results. For their health, they simply trained super fucking hard. Like, you can see those guys, they're fucking ripped. And they just ate an animal-based diet. That was it. They didn't do none of this hyperbolic shit where they drink apple cider vinegar and all this shit. They just did 2 things, 2 simple things, which are hard enough to do. But they did them, and that was why they were so good at that. They didn't have any weird supplements. They just did the things that they knew was going to get them to success. Because let's be honest, you probably already know what you need to do, but you're still trying to find this new technique that you haven't found yet. So step number 2, the Spartan habits. So now you've learned the principle that the Spartans base their habits off of. And so in just a second I'll list out all of the habits that you're going to need to do. And it's actually not as many as you probably think. It's quite a few actually. And if you do these, they will change your life. So let me just go first through the list and I'll explain them afterwards. So 1 hour screen time max. Work out 3 times a week. Eat no junk food. Go to bed before 10 PM and journal every day. And now you're probably going to say, oh yeah, but the Spartans, they didn't have junk food and they didn't have a phone. Fucking idiot, bro. They obviously had different distractions than us. Like, don't you see the point I'm making here? They had other things to deal with. I've just modernized this shit so you can actually use it. And the reason why we want to stop using our phone less is because you're frying your dopamine receptors. You can't do anything. You can't do hard work. You can't focus. You can't do shit just because of this. And then, as I said, you know, with going to sleep before 10 PM, people say, oh yeah, but I'm a night owl. My chronotype tells me that, oh yeah, I can't go to bed before 10 PM. Let me be honest, yeah, there are definitely a few people in the world that are like that, but most likely you're not one of them. I was not one of them. The only reason why I couldn't go to sleep before 12 PM, like literally like 12 o'clock in the evening, was because I was just so fucked up because of social media, bro. These people, they have tried so hard to fuck you over and it succeed every single time. Your phone spits out blue light into your eye, so you think that it's day even though you're laying in the darkness with your phone in your hand. That way you can't sleep. It lessens the production of melatonin, which is a chemical that makes you like tired, and it just makes you not really get that as much. And then on top of that, these TikToks constantly spike you with dopamine. And so you relate going to sleep with getting like hit boom 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 with dopamine. These people has tried you so hard to fuck you over with endless scrolling, all this shit. I've talked about it before. So most likely, you're not a fucking night owl or whatever this shit is. Because I thought the same as you, I'll be honest bro, I was also deceived like that. On school days, I would go to bed at like 11, 12. And then maybe in the evenings, I'd go to bed at like 1 AM. And I thought, oh yeah, but I'm a night owl. I work, I'm better when I sleep late and go to bed late. No, I wasn't. Now I go to bed. I can go to bed at 8 PM, no problem. It's just because you're so fucking overstimulated. And it's these evil people that do it to you. I hate these people so much because all they try to do is fuck your life over so they can make a bit of cash. That's what it's all about. You think that TikTok or Facebook cares about you. They don't give a fuck, bro. They make money the more you stay on the app. You are the one being sold. You say, oh yeah, but social media is free. No, it's not. The reason why it's free for you is because you're the thing being sold, bro. It's the advertisers that pay for you to literally sit there and doom scroll. These people don't give a shit about you. It's not because they think, oh yeah, these people should have like a nice service that they made it free. They made it free because you're the thing being fucking sold. You're being sold as a slave. You're literally like, oh, I could sit here and rant about this all day, bro. But yeah, let's go on to the next few habits. And so I think going to the gym, I don't really need to explain that. Obviously it gets our physical health better, but it actually also does get your mental health better. And so the last one, journaling. I don't know if the Spartans did this. I'll be honest, completely honest, bro. I have no fucking clue. But I know this is still like an ancient thing. So if you haven't heard about the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, he was like a really known Roman emperor, and everybody loved him. And he has basically he was writing in his journal very, very often. And then when he died, they found all of the things that he'd written down, and they've made it into a book that you can go buy. It's called Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And so basically where I'm going with this is that these great men, they journaled. They got their thoughts out. They wanted to help them make decisions, because I'll be honest, for a long time I coped and said, oh yeah, but I just talk to myself and it's just as good as journaling. I get it out, but I don't want to write it out on paper. I was just coping. The past few weeks I've been actually getting back into journaling, and what I've come to realize is that you reflect more on your mistakes and your like successes, so you have either like easier time improving for tomorrow. And then also one thing that happens when you journal, that instead of like always being, oh yeah, but I'm just like stressed, right? Instead of being stressed all the time, you actually spill it out onto the paper. You can be more focused on your goals. You can fill your brain up with the thoughts about how am I going to make this video, how am I going to work out today, how am I going to do these things. You can actually think about the right things, because you're not constantly worrying about, oh yeah, but I have to ask my boss off for a holiday, right? You can spill your thoughts out, say what you've learned on the paper, and it stays there. You don't have to like fuck around in your mind getting all stressed by and depressed and anxious. And so these habits are quite basic, and you've probably heard people talk about them before. But it is only if you give them your 100% full attention, and you don't do all of this extra bullshit, that you will actually see incredible results. So here is step 3, the implementation. So now you already know the principles that the habits are based on, what habits we're going to do. But Laura, it's how the fuck do we do this shit? So I'm just going to go through the list, tell you exactly what I did to limit these things, to become good at them, whatever it is. I'm going to tell you exactly what I've been doing these past 2 years, which has worked for me, and it will work for you. So first of all, delete social media, and this is for screen time, by the way. Delete social media, turn off your notifications. And you might think, oh yeah, but I need this social media for my friends. I'll be honest, I still have Snapchat on my phone, because that is basically the only place where I can text my friends. We like in my class we have a group chat, and so I wouldn't be able to text there. So if there are some that you must have for like reasons, then just make sure that you have your notifications off. And so to make sure that you're not like spending too much time on those social medias that you kept, there is an app called Burnout Body and one called Screen Sen. And basically these apps, they can limit your time on the apps, and they'll make like a pop-up message where it says like, I write like, this is literally what I've written. Every time I open my phone and I try to go on like Snapchat or YouTube, it says, "Are you a gooner?" That's like, you can specifically make the message, and it helps you so much because you're actually conscious and you're thinking like, oh shit, I just did this mindlessly, and you're like thinking, oh shit, I'm not even going to use this. Like, put your phone away, right? Okay, and this is the probably easiest and smallest step you can do to start actually lowering your screen time, and I call it the overstimulation challenge. And because, as I said before, you are so overstimulated by all these people, you know, they infiltrate your brain, all this shit, right? So what I did was I stopped. Like, you can't even deal with the pain of going to the toilet and taking a shit. You must scroll. You scroll when you're eating. It's not even stimulating enough for you to eat food. You can't go for a bike ride without listening to music. You can't go on the bus without having to sit with your phone. So what I want you to do is just to remove those small things, because the reason why the small things is the biggest problem for you right now is because they make you relate scrolling to doing something else, which will hurt your attention span and your ability to do things that are actually meaningful. So basically all I'm asking you to do is, the next time you go to take a shit, don't bring your phone. The next time you sit in public transport, you don't look at your phone, you just look out the window. And it will be painful, but within a week it will feel completely normal. You'll be just alright. So yeah, that is the easiest and first step you can do, and then also implement the apps that I just talked about. Going to bed before 10 PM. So like me, 3 years ago, your sleep schedule is probably absolutely cooked. You're probably going to bed 11, 12 in the evening on a school day. So what I recommend to do, and which was basically also what I did, is to just stop moving your sleeping time. Like, not when you're laying in your bed with your phone, just when you're laying there trying to sleep, just move it back 15 to 30 minutes. And then even if you still like cannot sleep 15 to 30 minutes earlier, just lay in your bed there, because over time your brain will like get used to it, and then once you get used to that new waking time, you can move it back 15 minutes earlier, and then just do that until you hit before 10 PM. And that was basically all I did. Then there is minimizing junk food. So I basically did this through acknowledging that I had an addiction. So instead of just, you know, binging a little here and there and doing it every day, I said to myself, okay, for the whole week you're not going to eat any junk food, but on Sunday you don't have to worry about anything you eat. And this actually works because your brain knows that at the end of the week you're gonna get that junk food, so it will happily wait because it knows that it's gonna get the thing that it wants. And obviously you can't eat fucking like a whole week's worth of food in one day, so you're actually not really getting the downsides of the junk food if you just eat it once a week. And what I've also experienced is that over time your desire to even eat it when you get to your cheat day, it like kind of goes away, because you know how good it feels to eat nice and eat clean. So the good feeling, you don't really want it to vanish just because you eat some shitty food, and that's what I've been experiencing, I'll be honest. Going to the gym 3 times a week. So I did this by simply just dropping my ego. I thought I was so good that I could do 2 hours workout first day. You can't. Let me tell you, you can't. And if you do, let's say you do it on the first day, within 1 week you'll quit. So what I recommend you do instead is literally just, and this sounds so mental because you're thinking like, oh, but I don't get the benefit, right? What I want you to do is just go to the gym, walk around for a little bit, try a few exercises, maybe do a few bicep curls, try a few machines, just walk around and go home. It doesn't matter, you just literally have to go there. And you're probably like being all defensive, oh yeah, but I'm not going to get the benefits. The thing is, you're having trouble with being consistent. Your problem is not that you're not getting the benefits, your problem is that you're not even doing anything. So first we're going to focus on getting consistent. And so once you've gotten like used to, you know, going around there, trying a few exercises, then you can start doing maybe like a 10-15 minute workout. And slowly you can over time actually get into real workouts. And then you see, now you'll start getting the benefits. But before we can think about getting the benefits, we need to get consistent first. So that is my advice to you. Literally just go there, try a few exercises, cope a little bit, and then go home. It's all about just getting there at first. And then when you get to that point where you're like, you're pretty comfortable with doing the workout, it will be easy to go to the gym 3 times a week. Like, I'll be honest, I go to the gym minimum 4 times a week, every week. Then there is journaling daily, and as I said, for a long time I coped a bit, and I told you the story before, but this was how I was able to get back into it. So basically what I do is I just sit with my notebook, and I literally have it right here. I'll show you. I just grab my notebook, and then every day at the top of the paper, I know you can't really see what it is, but I just write, I'm thinking. So I know it's in Danish so you can't read it, but every single day I just write, I'm thinking, and then everything I'm thinking about, whether that's a problem, something that's been going on in my mind that's been annoying me, some thoughts, something new that I've learned, I just write down what comes to mind. It doesn't matter what it is, just write it down. And that's the thing, you literally just have to start with, I'm thinking. And then your brain is instantly going to be like, oh yeah, I'm thinking this, I'm thinking that, I'm going to thinking this. And then I'm not going to try to force myself to write 5 pages. I've literally, what I've done, I'll show you. I've just been writing like 1 page every day, and that's the thing. I say, okay Loris, you're just gonna write 1 page a day, and that's the goal. And that's how I started journaling again after being like stopped for 1 year or something. And if you struggle to stay consistent with any of these habits, I would recommend a habit tracker. And a habit tracker is basically a paper. You can literally see I have one right here. It's a piece of paper where you write at the top of the paper, you write down the habit that you're tracking, and every day you tick the box if you do the habit, and then you cross it if you miss it. And basically what this does is that you like gain this sense of a game where you hold yourself accountable. You see that you've been consistent for 4 days, and you're like, oh my god, I can't miss this 5th day. When you're losing motivation, you're like, oh yeah, but look at the ticks, you get all autistic and shit. So I've really been like, I really stress you, I think you should use it. And to be honest, you don't even need to make one. I've already made one for you and for free in the description that you can just go down and download. If you do all of these habits for literally just like a few weeks, your life will be changed. And if you want my personal help to stop being lazy and feeling like shit all the time, and instead become disciplined and actually build good habits, you can go down in the description and join the Discord Brotherhood, and we can chat about what your situation is and how I can help you. Alright, that's it. Put one foot in front of the other.